Welcome to Clue Trail, where true stories unravel one step at a time. From crimes and cults to survival stories and the downright strange, we follow the twists that lead to the truth. If you're enjoying the show, check out Patreon for bonus episodes and early access. Just search Clue Trail or hit the link in the show notes. And don't forget to follow, rate, or review the podcast. It helps more curious minds find us. Now, let's dive into today's case. In a quiet corner in Victoria, Australia, a family lunch ended in tragedy when a homemade beef Wellington resulted in 3 deaths, 1 critical illness, and a wave of national attention. Now, after months of investigation, forensic analysis, and courtroom proceedings, a verdict has been reached. Erin Patterson, the former daughter-in-law to the victims, has been found guilty of murder. But how did it come to this? What event led to a family gathering turning into one of Australia's most unsettling criminal cases? This is the Erin Patterson case. It all began on a quiet Saturday afternoon in July 2023 in the small town of Leongata, Victoria. That day, Erin Patterson invited her former in-laws, Don and Gail Patterson, over for lunch. Joining them were Gail's sister, Heather Wilkinson, and Heather's husband, Ian. This lunch wasn't intended as a celebration. In the days leading up to it, Erin has told her ex-husband, Simon Patterson, that she had found a lump and had received some bad news. According to Erin, she wanted to gather everyone, Don and Gail, along with Heather and Ian, to discuss how they would break the news to the children. Simon, while reportedly saddened by what she told him, declined the invitation. Given the recent strain in their relationship, he said it would be awkward to attend. But the others still agreed to go. The meal Erin served that day was beef Wellington, a dish traditionally made with beef tenderloin, mushroom duxelle, and puff pastry. But Erin didn't prepare the dish in the traditional way. Instead of making one large Wellington to slice and serve, she made individual portions. She later explained that this was because she couldn't find beef tenderloin, so she used ribeye steaks instead. That detail, specifically the separate servings, would later become a point of interest in the investigation. After lunch, the 4 guests returned home, but within hours, they were struck by severe gastrointestinal symptoms, vomiting, diarrhea, and rapid dehydration. Their condition deteriorated quickly, progressing to liver failure. Don and Gail Patterson died within days. Heather Wilkinson passed away soon after, and her husband, Ian, was rushed to intensive care and only survived after undergoing an emergency liver transplant. And Erin Patterson the one who had prepared and served the meal, showed no symptoms at all. The cause of death, confirmed by the toxicology tests, amatoxin poisoning, the deadly toxin found in the dead cap mushrooms. To understand how we got here, to a launch that left 3 people dead and 1 fighting for his life for 7 weeks, we need to understand the woman at the center of it all. So, who was the mastermind behind this horrific poisoning? Erin Patterson was born on 30th of September 1974 and raised in a suburb southeast of Melbourne. She was bright and driven, performing well academically and earning a place in a science program at the University of Melbourne. She later switched to accounting and eventually trained as an air traffic controller, graduating in 2001. This alone was an impressive achievement given the intense pressure and responsibility that comes with that role. Erin held a range of jobs over the years, including time with Air Services Australia and later the RSPCA, working in animal management. In 2004, she met Simon Patterson, an engineer at the Monash City Council. From the get-go, they hit it off and began dating. In 2006, following her grandmother's passing, Erin inherited $2 million. She and Simon married the next year and moved to Western Australia, living in several towns while Erin ran a second-hand bookshop and Simon worked in a local government. Their first child was born during this time, and Erin remained close with Simon's parents, Don and Gail. By all accounts, everything between Erin and her in-laws was fine. Erin even decided to help Simon's siblings financially, offering them interest-free loans to purchase their homes. Her only ask was that these loans would be paid with inflation. And before their second child arrived, the whole family returned to Victoria to be closer to Don and Gail. Erin especially bonded with Don over books and connected with Heather and Ian through the local Baptist church where Ian preached. But despite what seems like a quiet life with family support and structure, the marriage began to deteriorate. Simon and Erin separated multiple times before finally calling it quits in 2015. Although separated, they remained amicable and co-parented the children, even went on holidays as a family. But that changed in 2022. And it started from a simple mistake when Simon filed a tax return that listed him as single. As a result, Erin lost eligibility for certain government support and she became furious. Which, in this context, and this being the only thing she asked of him, understandable. Simon said it was a mistake by his accountant and he will fix this straight away. But either way, the damage was done. Their relationship soured quickly. Battles for child support began and slowly Erin grew distant from the entire Patterson family. By 2023, the relationship was on the rocks, and after she was reportedly snubbed after receiving a last-minute invitation to Gail's Patterson's 70th birthday celebration, the damage was irreversible. Erin now felt like an outsider, and the people who she considered family were no longer in her good graces. She started venting online, posting critical messages about Simon and her in-laws, and just like this, what was once a warm relationship now turned cold. While investigators were trying to determine what happened at that lunch table that led to 3 people dying, another clue unfolded for them. They discovered that a year earlier, in 2022, Simon was rushed to the hospital with a sudden life-threatening illness. He had collapsed at home and was placed in intensive care, and for weeks he fought for his life. His liver was failing and slowly his body was shutting down. And this wasn't the first time Simon fell ill. He told friends he had fallen ill on multiple occasions, including after meals Erin had prepared or drinks she had given him. And although authorities were initially cautious in their public statements, even going so far as to say in the days following the fatal lunch that Erin Patterson was not a suspect, it wasn't long until they uncovered the extent of this web of lies, and possibly one of the most unsettling murder cases. And things began to escalate quickly after a doctor at the hospital contacted police, which shifted the case from concern to suspicion. Initially, the call focused on Erin Patterson's well-being. She had presented at the hospital complaining of gastric symptoms and requesting an IV for dehydration, but she chose to leave against medical advice. What raised even more questions was that Erin, unlike the others, showed no signs of poisoning. Actually, she seemed determined to avoid any further examination. The turning point came when the doctor asked her where the mushrooms had come from and who else has eaten that meal. Erin didn't really have any good answer, claiming her children are fine, although eating leftovers with the mushroom paste removed. And soon after, she left the hospital. So, given the severity of the incident and the potential risk to public safety, a full investigation was launched. Police started by searching Erin's home and collected any items linked to the lunch. They conducted interviews, gathered CCTV footage, and worked to build a clear timeline of events, not only to determine what happened, but to assess whether there was any broader threat to the community. You can imagine the panic if supermarkets were selling poisonous mushrooms. As for Erin's explanation to all this, it was simple. She told police she had used a pack of dried mushrooms bought from an Asian grocery store months earlier to make the mushroom paste for the Wellington. And despite being asked multiple times where exactly she had purchased the mushrooms, even just the name of the street or any detail that could help trace the source, Erin avoided giving any clear answer. She delayed returning calls, she said she was busy, and generally remained vague. All this taken together, Simon's unexplained illnesses, the fact that Erin and the children remain unaffected by the meal, her reluctance to provide details about the source of the mushrooms, the growing tensions with the family, and the discovery of a discarded food dehydrator containing traces of the toxin, left investigators with one conclusion. Erin Patterson had knowingly served this poison meal. And by 2nd of November the same year, they had gathered enough evidence. Erin Patterson was arrested at her home and formally charged with 3 counts of murder and 5 counts of attempted murder. After her arrest, Erin Patterson was taken to Wonthaggi police station, and then later she was detained at a maximum security prison in Melbourne. At that stage, her lawyer said little to the press, and Erin remained largely silent during proceedings, offering no plea. The case was then adjourned to allow police to complete the full brief of evidence, which included forensic results, toxicology reports, electronic records, and dozens of witness statements. Throughout early 2024, Erin appeared in court multiple times, and each time, the prosecution outlined the incremental updates to their case, including lab confirmations of amatoxins in the victims and new details from interviews with family members. And whilst her legal team initially made no comment on whether she would contest the charges, that changed in May 2024, when Erin's legal team confirmed she would plead not guilty to all charges, and a trial date was eventually set for early 2025. The trial finally began on 29th of April 2025. The prosecution opening statement was straight to the point. Erin Patterson was manipulative. She had lied about having a serious illness, even claiming to have cancer, and used those lies to shape how others saw her and to explain away suspicious behavior. Erin Patterson had deliberately served a meal laced with dead cap mushrooms, knowing exactly what he would do. Rather than focusing on motive, the prosecution urged the jurors to look at the evidence, at the actions, and to follow the pattern they believed pointed clearly to premeditated poisoning. The defense argued that this was a tragic accident, not murder. Erin, they said, had no idea the mushrooms were toxic and had no reason to harm her guests. She had used the dried mushrooms bought from an Asian grocery store and prepared what she believed was a normal family meal. They acknowledged inconsistencies in her story, but attributed them to shock and confusion, not guilt. They also pointed out no clear motive. Erin gained nothing from the deaths and had no history of violence or malice towards her former in-laws. With these opening statements delivered, trial began. Let's go over the evidence and witness testimonies the prosecution presented to support their case against Erin Patterson. Firstly, there was the food dehydrator, which police recovered from a nearby landfill, the exact same one that Erin had denied owning. Forensic testing found traces of amatoxins along with Erin's fingerprints, and CCTV footage confirmed that Erin had disposed of the dehydrator just days after the lunch. She later told the police she panicked and wanted to get rid of it. Then, the prosecution showed that Erin had posted photos of the dehydrator and the dried mushrooms on social media before the incident. This contradicted her earlier claims that she didn't own or use the dehydrator. Evidence was also presented that Erin had made 2 trips in April 2023 to rural areas near Loch and Outram. These locations have been reported to have few habitats for dead cap mushrooms. The prosecution suggested this was when she may have gathered the toxic mushrooms used in the meal. Then, there was the testimony of Heather Wilkinson, the only surviving guest from the lunch. He told the court that different colored plates were used to serve the meal. Erin had used 4 dark plates and 1 orange plate. It was actually Heather Wilkinson, his wife, who first noticed the difference. According to Simon Patterson, as he was driving Heather to the hospital, she asked him whether Erin owned mismatched crockery. Then, in what would be one of her final lucid moments before passing away, Heather raised the question again. Why had Erin eaten from a different colored plate? The prosecution pointed to this detail as further evidence of premeditation, suggesting that Erin may have deliberately served the contaminated food to her guests while avoiding it herself. And although Erin claimed to have also felt sick that day, medical staff noted she showed no physical symptoms when she arrived at the hospital. She actually left without treatment and gave no clear explanation for her condition, which the prosecution viewed as an attempt to appear uninvolved. They also introduced evidence that Erin's ex-husband, Simon, had fallen severely ill in 2022. He was hospitalized with liver failure and required intensive care, and he had reportedly fallen sick several times after consuming food or drink provided by Erin. These incidents were only included to support a pattern of suspected poisoning. Also, they pointed out that throughout the investigation, Erin gave inconsistent accounts of where she got the mushrooms. Despite repeated requests, she failed to provide the name of the store or even a location. This was described as evasive behavior. And lastly, prosecutors said that Erin kept her children from attending the lunch. They suggested this was intentional, to prevent them from being exposed to the contaminated food. The prosecution argued that all this evidence pointed to a clear conclusion, that Erin Patterson had prepared and served the mushroom dish knowingly, with murderous intent. In response, the defense challenged the prosecution's claim and presented their own interpretations of the events. Here's how they countered the key pieces of evidence. They first tackled the source of mushrooms. Erin Patterson maintained that she had purchased dried mushrooms from an Asian grocery store. And although she couldn't remember the store, the defense argued that she had no way of knowing they were toxic and that the mushrooms must have actually been contaminated unintentionally. One of the central pillars of the defense's case was the absence of a clear motive. They stressed that Erin had no financial or personal gain from the deaths and that her relationship with the victims, although strained, had never been violent or threatening. The defense reminded the jury that motive was not proven and that personal conflict alone is not equal to intent to kill. Then they talked about Erin declining medical treatment. On this, they claimed that Erin had told the police and Simon that she felt unwell after the meal. The defense argued that this showed she had no reason to think the food was dangerous and no motive to avoid eating it herself. They suggested her refusal of treatment was based on her symptoms being mild, not part of a plan to feign illness. When talking about the food dehydrator, this was placed only on Erin panicking, a simple emotional response in the aftermath of this tragedy. The plates? Many people own different plate sets. No forensic evidence showed which plates had the toxin, and Erin herself denied serving different meals. The defense also acknowledged Simon's previous health scare, but insisted there was no solid proof connecting Erin to his symptoms. And lastly, they admitted she may have seemed evasive at times, but argued that this was due to shock, grief, and a fear of being blamed, not a sign of guilt. They said her inconsistent answers reflected stress, not a calculated cover-up. So, this was pretty straightforward so far, as a trial like this would go. But then, Erin made a decision that surprised many. You see, in a case of this nature, it's not common for the accused to testify. But Erin Patterson chose to take the stand in the hopes that this would show openness, remorse, and of course, credibility with the jury. During her testimony, Erin repeated her version of events, that the mushrooms had been bought from an Asian supermarket months earlier, and that she had used them unknowingly in the beef Wellington. She said she had no idea the mushrooms were dangerous and insisted she would never harm her former in-laws. She considered them family. Once more, she claimed that she too fell unwell after the meal, and although she didn't seek treatment beyond showing up at the hospital and leaving shortly after, she maintained that her symptoms were genuine, just not as severe. And the reason for her less severe symptoms? After lunch, she indulged to a full orange cake that Heather has brought over, and she had made herself sick and thrown up. One of the most revealing moments of Erin's testimony came when she addressed her false cancer claim, the lie central to why the lunch was organized in the first place. Erin admitted she had told her family she believed she might have ovarian cancer, but she insisted she was covering for something else. She was embarrassed about making plans for weight loss surgery, specifically a gastric bypass, and didn't want to reveal her insecurities. She said she believed she booked a pre-surgery appointment for the procedure at Melbourne and Reach Clinic. However, things really took a turn when prosecutors confronted her about the fact that the clinic had no records of treating her or even offering gastric bypass surgery at all. Erin's response to this? She acknowledged she might have been confused about the procedure, even though she had referenced a specific appointment date previously. Of course, the prosecution immediately highlighted this discrepancy as evidence of her deception to the jury. It basically raised even more doubts about her credibility. Finally, after 11 weeks of testimonies, forensic evidence, and dozens of witness statements, the trial drew to a close, with both sides delivering their final arguments. The prosecution closed by urging the jury to focus on the facts, the deliberate plating, the discarded dehydrator, the evasive answers, and Erin Patterson's proven lies. This was not an accident, but a calculated act carried out with full knowledge of what dead cap mushrooms could do. They reminded the jury that 3 people had died, a 4th had nearly followed, and the only person untouched by the meal was the one who prepared it. The defense, in their closing statement, asked the jury to consider the possibility of human error. They said Erin was not a murderer, but a woman overwhelmed by panic and grief. They argued that prosecution had built a case on assumptions and circumstantial connections, no hard proof of intent. They asked for reasonable doubt and urged the jury not to mistake inconsistency for guilt. And after 5 days of deliberation, the jury returned with an unanimous verdict. Erin Patterson was found guilty on all 3 counts of murder and 5 counts of attempted murder. She remains in custody and is awaiting formal sentencing with a non-parole period to be determined at a future hearing. This case shocked the world, taking grandparents, parents, and beloved members of the community far too soon. It raised painful questions about family, trust, and how something as ordinary as a shared meal could lead to such devastating loss. This was the case of Erin Patterson. Thanks for listening to Clue Trail. We'll be back soon with another story and another path to follow. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.